My guy Paparazzi, we got him in studio right now.
Yes, sir.
If you don't know now, you know still. Welcome to the Reach Over Culture Podcast. This is episode 23. The number to call in is 323-443-7426. Man, how you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good. It's a new season. I'm happy to be here, happy to be with you, man, and just be able to be a part of something. It's going to be so great. So I'm good.
Yes, sir. Now, as you know, if you've been tuning in, you can see that we are in Mental Health Awareness Month, and here on the podcast, we definitely want to shed light on that each and every episode this week. And so today, the question that will be posed, and there's no mistake that I have my guy here with me to discuss this subject, will be mental health in the Black community. Now, if you are not Black, this doesn't mean that this isn't for you, because I've had plenty of people of other cultures ask me, how do we approach mental health in the Black community specifically? Because you see in a lot of other communities, it's not taboo. It's not weird to go to counseling. It's not, it's just not a thing to think mentally something's not all the way there. Yeah. It's just not a problem. And so we're going to talk about specifically us being two Black men talking about the stigma of mental health in the Black community itself. So just jumping right off into it, is mental health taboo in the Black community? What's your take on it?
Absolutely. I think it's something that's swept under the rug a lot. And not actually taken as serious as it should be. And I think the reason for that is because we grow up with a lot of pride. Like, just we have to basically get we get fed this mentality to look like we have it all together.
Right.
And so I think ultimately, like, that's the root of it. And so, yeah, to answer the question, yeah, absolutely. Like, I know growing up with certain situations with my parents, or even just over the last 10 years, my own pride has kept me from getting help. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think it's just the Black community just grows up being so proud, or at least trying to look like they have it all together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I totally agree. I think mental health in the Black community is looked at as taboo. I can only speak for myself. Growing up, I was a real quiet kid, shy kid, so I didn't really say much. And whenever I would have an episode of being upset, or being sad, or being angry about something, it would translate into you're just over exaggerating.
Yeah. Or sensitive.
You're just sensitive.
Yeah.
Shout out to P, but Black boys don't cry.
Yeah.
It's not popular to say, you hurt my feelings.
Absolutely, yeah. Growing up, especially if you grew up in a tough neighborhood, not all Black people grew up in a tough neighborhood, but if you did, you had to be, when you walked out of that door, you had to look tough, you had to act tough. And so that's where, just being sensitive was not a thing. That was thrown out the door, you know? That was instantly, so. Yeah,
and it's sad, man, because you get a lot of these dudes, especially if you grow up in certain neighborhoods, that in the hood, you only know one way to be, and that's as tough as you can be.
Exactly.
Because you don't want people messing over you, and you don't want people messing around with you.
No.
And so you're stuck in a position where I can't tell you that you hurt my feelings, but you can express how much you want to fight.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of these young dudes now that want to fight because they don't know how to express their feelings.
No, not at all. It turns into, like I said, that acting tough turns into anger because they can't express themselves or really let it out. Situations even too, growing up without a father, you know. The Black community is known for that. And you grow without a father, it teach you, the right things or how to express yourself. Or, you grow up with just your mom and you gotta either be tough for her or little sis or little brother or whatever. So it ends up creating this mountain of just anger and mixed emotions, that we don't know how to express, especially Black men, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, and it's sad. It's really sad because you look at the amount of black on black crime now, and I get it. For a lot of people, black on black crime is I've even heard it called fictional, fictitious. I've heard that. Like people will say, it's fictitious because it's something that's being put out there in order to distract us from the oppression that we face as people of color.
Yep.
And so I'm not here to dispute that. All right. Yeah. I'm not here to say that those numbers are put out to blind the fact that a woman was just shot 5 times in front of an apartment complex the other day. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that we should focus so much on the realm of black on black crime to separate it from police brutality and other things that's going on in the world. Not saying that at all. But black on black crime is a real thing. Yeah. If I kill you as a black man, that's me being black, you being black, that's black on black crime. Yeah. And when you look at the amount of men dying at an alarming rate, the number of people of black ethnicity, African American descent, is going down, while other ethnicities numbers are going up. And majority of that, and large part of that, is black people killing other black people, mm-hmm. and a lot of black men killing a lot of other black men. Mm-hmm. And as a kid, you see that it's just, I can look at my own cousins, and I can look at my own family members, and look at myself, and look at the community that I was raised in, and you just see it grow up for what it is. Yeah. Daddy's hard, so the son's got to be hard. The son's got to be hard, so everybody that they hang around got to be hard. Like everybody mm-hmm. got to be hard. Yeah. Everybody got to be tough. Yep. You can't let anybody see you be weak. You can't let anybody see you cry, because then they're gonna take advantage of you. Right. Like, so, and it's never a mental thing. Mm-hmm. It's very logical. It's very reasonable. Yeah. It's very, very reasonably thrown out there. Mm-hmm. It's a reason why you are the way you are.
Absolutely. Everything has a root.
Everything has a root. But it's not mental. It's just physically what somebody can see. They're messing with you because they just want to mess with you because you're weak. Right. But if we break it down and actually go into, all right, mentally, what is actually going on in their heads to make them think that they can mess with me? And what's going on in my head to make me feel like I have to respond to what they got going on. Right. Like mental health has so many different layers to it, but generations and generations and generations of people of color don't want to pay attention to the layers, and so they continue to let it layer up till you get to about 28, 29, mm-hmm. and you go into counseling and you thinking about stuff you ain't never even thought about since you were like 8 years old.
Yeah, 8 years old, you realize that was the root, or the issue why you can't get married, or have a functioning relationship. Yeah. Just speaking from my experience and stuff like that. So yeah, there's so many layers to it, and reasoning behind. There's so many things that influence it in music. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's a lot of layers to it.
Yep. And if you watch on Instagram Live, the number to call in is 323-443-7426. I got my man Paparzyi here with me, and so we're talking about mental health in the black community. How do you feel about we talked about black men and the stigma of black men and mental health. Mm-hmm. Do you think that black women take mental health more seriously than black men?
I think they do, because women are they're more sensitive, and they express themselves more, mm-hmm. and they're more vulnerable. So I think, ultimately, like, they do, because they're kind of like just built to express themselves more. Right. And it's okay if they're sad. It's okay if they're upset and angry and everything. And then plus they have it's welcome for them to be upset and angry or cry and everything. Right. One reason I feel like the women take it more serious, because it's like, if they cry, then cool, they got mom, dad, or somebody there, male or female, to be able to comfort that. Right. And then with men, black men, it's like, just like we were saying earlier, mm-hmm. it's like, man, toughen up, or you got somebody who just ignores it.
So, well, I mean, it's pretty unfortunate because, again, like, so many people out here suffering. I do mental health more seriously than men because, again, they are more emotional. They are more sensitive to a lot of different things. And so, man, I'm just calling us to be higher in our stance, to be more aware of what's going on as Black men, because if we can do that, we can stop generational curses that's been going on and on and on and on and on and on. If we can get this stuff under wraps and we can really teach the next generation like what's going on right now, then I feel like we can get a lot of stuff done.
Absolutely.
And so people, as us as in the Black community, let's especially us as Black men, let's invest in our mental health. Go get the counseling. Go see people that you go get professional help outside of Cousin Ray Ray and them. Like like let's go do the homework. Let's go actually invest in pay people that went to school for this stuff. Like, let's not just rely on our own understanding. Even the words talks about that, not relying on your own understanding. Seeking wisdom. And I can say from my own personal experience, it wasn't until I went to counseling that I was able to really deal with the depression and a lot of things that I had going on.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me. And even if you don't, I will say this, even if you don't have, the means to go to therapy or whatever, at least take time to put your pride down and just ask for help. And then also, too, just something more practical that you could do is change the people that you hang out with. Find people that truly care about you, that you can talk to. If you do have a lot of stuff in your mind, find people that truly care about you and hear your heart, hear your mind, so you don't have to carry that stuff by yourself. So I know for me personally, that's I went to counseling, and that helped out. But really, what helped me change a lot and carry a lot of my thoughts. It helped me figure out a lot of things that I was dealing with when it came to depression, anxiety, and just past hurts, was walking with the right people. So I encourage everyone to find the right people that truly care about you, that aren't there just for, just because you benefit them, but are there because they want to see you at your best.
Yeah. Yep. So shout out to the community, man, but also shout out to anybody and everybody that's taking their mental health seriously, especially those in the Black community. Let's break generational curses that's been plaguing us as a people for years, man. Not just now, but for years. All right. So, with that being said, I got my dog Paparzyi here. All right, so let's get into the project, man. You got a project coming out May 17th.
May 17th, I have a project called AIM. It's going to be everywhere tomorrow night at 11. You know what I'm saying? It'll be early, streaming early, but May 17th is the date. And I'm excited. It's been a long journey. Yeah. It's been a very long journey, but it's definitely worth the wait. I'm excited to release it. It's it's actually more than what I even thought it would be. So yeah, I'm happy to release it.
Man, talk about the process of making this album for a second. What's this process been like? How long has it taken them to actually make this?
Man, okay, so to give just a little background, I've been doing music for about 7 years.
Okay.
But where I started was like, I was just all about trying to be the best. It was about me. It wasn't really about everyone else, or like I would say I was there to try to influence people and be an inspiration, but really I made it about me. And so it was wild, and like I had cussing in it. I would talk about just about anything and everything.
Right.
And but I got to a point around in 2015 where I was like, this ain't working. And I released a good song, but I felt empty with it. So I've always believed in God, but I never really trusted God with my gift.
Right.
So in 2015, I just made a decision. I was like, all right, God, I'm going to give you everything I got. And I felt like there was a project I didn't know what the project was at the time, but I felt like God wanted me to make more music for Him,
right.
and to help people glorify Him, but then also help people influence them in their relationship with God.
Right.
So I made a decision. Now at the time, I thought it was gonna be an easy thing, and it was not. So,
right.
So like, I really did have to go through a heart change, a mental change, you know, discipline myself to truly make sure my project was real. Like, I was actually walking out and believed what I'm talking about on the project, and not in a sense of perfection or anything like that,
right.
but really just like I had changed instead of just like saying stuff. So the process for me really was like I had to spend a lot of time with God to get this project out, because there were certain times it's like I had writer's block, and unless I spent that devotion time, that worship time, that bumping my head time, like making some mistakes time to learn certain things, certain songs didn't come to me.
Yeah.
So it was really the project is more than just music. You're like listening to my spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really good that it's coming out this month too, because it starts off in a state where I'm dealing with depression and, you know, mental things that, you know, I was having trouble with at the time, because all my life I've been dealing with depression, but I always dealt with it with things of the world.
Yeah.
So it's like I used to drink a lot. And so one of the things that when I stopped drinking, when I made the decision to stop drinking, I realized that was basically it was my void for God, and it was keeping my depression down or take my mind off of stuff. But when I took the drinking away, I didn't know how to depend on God for that. Yeah. So like there were times where it was like a tornado and an earthquake, and I didn't know how to function, you know. So yeah, it's just like stuff like that. I basically start off with on the project, and I also try to make it relatable to people who deal with that, because I think we're living in a time, not even just in the Black community, but just living in a time where people truly do deal with depression and anxiety, and, you know, just dealing with their emotions, period. And so I tried to really not only make something that would keep me motivated, but then also speak to, you know, just a generation of people that are dealing with that.
So AIM, what's the meaning of AIM?
AIM is the meaning behind AIM is basically it's basically like, okay, so God, like keeping your aim and focus on God. So just like on when Peter walked off the boat, when he took his eyes off of Jesus, he started sinking.
Yeah.
So the idea is that, okay, you're gonna have storms in your life. You're gonna have issues. Stuff is gonna pop up. Like, God and Jesus never said that we're gonna have issues, but can you keep your focus on God and go through the process? And for me, what it was like from 2015 to about now, or like actually last year, I really feel like God really completed something in me. But I'm giving that story in 2019. For me, it was like, okay, oh God, I believe in you, but I went through some mess. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had to go through the process of trusting Him through that mess and everything. And so it's like, I think it's coming from the perspective of like, okay, God, I believe in you. And I know we had this, I don't know, like perception or perspective out there, just like, okay, I start believing in God and everything's gonna be Gucci, and it's not. Right. And so it's coming from a point of like, okay, God, I believe in you, but I'm learning how to trust you. Right. And so that's where the aim is like to trust God.
Got you. Now, how long is the album gonna be?
The album is 11 songs.
11 songs?
11 songs, yep.
What's your favorite song off the album?
Man, I would say I have a song called Eden with Timmy, and Timmy is on Victory's worship team. He's one of the lead worship pastors there. And so, and the only reason I say that is because I remember where I was when I wrote that song, and I wanted, basically, like, I didn't have no discipline. I was still wilding, still having sex, still, you know, just, but I wanted to, like, I was like, God, I want this nothing, but I'm gonna give that to you. And so I wrote it from a point where it's like I was trading everything that I am for everything that God is. And so that's truly like my favorite song.
Got you. Let's see, Mr. JD, shout out to Josh. He said, in what ways did you grow releasing this album compared to the other albums you've put out?
Man, I grew definitely, like I said, spiritually, but honestly, through this process, it taught me grace, like really what grace is.
Yeah.
And there were moments where I had examples of grace. But basically, I didn't really learn grace honestly until my pastor took out the time in the middle of the night after I broke my phone because I was so angry and depressed. We took time in the middle of the night. He was trying to take care of his kids to call me and talk on the phone with me for 2 hours just to keep me from doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And I cussed him out that night too. So like I didn't learn grace until like that moment where it's like, shoot, like this man did this, that, and the other. And anybody who follows me knows who my pastor is. But this, that, and the other. And then I go to church and all this man has is love for me. He just hugged me and helped me get help. You know what I'm saying? They go through therapy and stuff like that. So that's the moment I learned grace, and it truly taught me to love people, man, where they are, not for what you want them to be or your preference or anything like that. I learned how to truly love people. And another thing is to trust God ultimately and follow the Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. The number to call in is 323-443-7426.
I hope to answer your question, JD.
Yes, sir. Shout out to JD. Man, when I think about the idea of aiming, and I like where you're going with the subject matter as far as keeping your focus on God, because in 2019, us being millennials, different things, it's extremely hard to keep your focus on God,
man.
Especially with everything that's going on out in the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look at the disciples and I'm thinking it's tough for them. With social media telling you how to live, telling you what's cool, telling you what's popular every single day. Yeah. It is a struggle. It is an absolute struggle to be in the will of God, to put your focus on what God actually has for you and that everybody else is doing. And so with that, in Tulsa, like, I wouldn't say there's a surge in the music scene, but it's definitely some up-and-coming artists that are doing a thing, and kind of raising the bar from what normal music from Tulsa, especially in the hip-hop scene, would look like. Yeah. At any point in this process, did you kind of look at them and say, man, I got to get on their level because I'm kind of missing my shot? Or were you streamlining your focus simply on what your process looked like and what God had for you? Or was it tough knowing that, man, they got some other like young dudes out here like really killing the music scene? Did it put pressure on you, or were you streamlining your focus simply on what
absolutely.
God had for you?
It put a lot of pressure on me because especially being where it's like I've done a lot in the city, and there's more to do. I'm not saying I've done everything, but I've done a lot in the city and made a name for myself where people knew me with my other music. To sit there and say, hey man, I'm about to do this for God, I was like, shoot. But I just threw it all away. But even through when, like I said, I'll be like, man, God, I'm gonna trust you, I'm still looking at somebody else or comparing myself to other people. But I just, when that happens, I think it's like I tried to change the duration of how much I did that or how long I was sitting up there wishing I made that song or wishing I had that platform and all that stuff. I just kept being aware of those moments and then putting my pride aside or putting how I thought things should go aside. And so, I don't feel like you asked a couple questions in one, but
no. You pretty much answered.
Okay,
so it's tough for you knowing that there was other artists that were out here.
Oh yeah, I think it's like, we're human, like artists, we, I don't care what anybody says, we're the most sensitive people out here. So it's like, it's like, you know what I'm saying, we're constantly like, now, like I said, but it comes down to discipline. Like, how long you gonna let yourself stay there? How long you gonna sit up there? And I got people who artists I run with, you know what I'm saying, I'm cool with, that I sometimes compare myself to. And I mean, they probably know who they are, but it's like, instead of looking at it as like pressure, I try to go ahead and look at it as inspiration. And just like keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? So
all right, shout out to that. AIM coming out May 17th. The number to call in is 323-443-7426. AIM is releasing May 17th. This is Paparazzi's first full project.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of inspirations, man, just want to get a couple more with you. Give me your main inspiration artistry-wise. Like, who's somebody that inspires you?
Man, first of all, I think even though Tulsa is coming up and it might have gotten overlooked for years, I think we got one of the best cities full of artists. So I'm gonna touch on my city first, and definitely throw myself in the list. But Steph Simon, King Cut, my dude I Am Des, everybody that messes with Lessons and Fresh, T Rush, Brand J Jackson, Brandy Faye, MC, Paris Cariz. Those are absolutely like people that I follow like a lot and who inspire me. You know what I'm saying? I look at them like, shoot, like y'all really doing your thing. And then they influence me too. And then there's also poets out there like Jerica Wortham, Written Quincy, and there's plenty more. But overall, I think we got one of the best cities ever. Like, if you looking for inspiration, all you got to do is ask and really go look for it. You're gonna find it.
So what do you think? Why do you think music in Tulsa hasn't probably broke into the mainstream or been noticed like other cities have? Why do you think that is?
I think it's a couple reasons. One, this is like Rocklahoma. Right. So when you look at the music scene, you got to think of like what kind of type of music you're looking for. Right. You can find a rock band almost on every corner around here. Now for us, or let's just say millennials, I'm just saying millennials because that covers every culture. Yeah. I think when you're looking at millennials, we're looking at more pop, hip hop. Yeah. It wasn't welcomed. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't it was cool, kind of something. It was like, oh, I like that, but then nobody admitted it. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right, so now the door is opening for more hip hop, R&B, and that pop kind of sound, or I'm gonna just say even like the Drake sound. You know what I'm saying? It's opening for that because over the last I would say, especially for the last 4 years, Tulsa has had their first hip hop festival. Yeah. And so so instead of like kind of throwing a hip hop act there, you had the door open for that. Like now it's like, okay, we got a whole festival. So it's just more welcome now. Before it wasn't as welcome. Times have changed. Another thing I feel like Tulsa was struggling was because of the support. It was like crabs in a barrel, Like everybody was trying to be the best instead of working together and trying to support each other. And of course, like everybody's not gonna get along, but it's like everybody can't be the best either. So I think that was another reason. And then two, I think my third reason, I believe a lot of Tulsa artists just didn't know how to evolve. They wanted, like, I think it's good to know what kind of music you like or know who you are and be that artist. But then at the same time, you gotta know how to evolve and continue to keep up with the times, because if you want to go mainstream, you got to keep up with the times. That's just what it is. So I think it's just like kind of having this like, I would say narrow-minded view. Sometimes some artists having a narrow-minded view and not being willing to change, that kind of kept Tulsa back. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? We all on the same level. I'm also a local artist, but that's my opinion. So
Got you. All right, well, we're going to get into one more track. We get a couple more questions from you, and then we'll be on the way out. We'll give a little bit of time for any callers that might call in. We're going to get into the second track. This is Comeback by my dog Paparazzi.
Yes, sir. And Paris Cariz is on there too.
Yes,
my
sir.
Guy.
Shout out to P. Cariz. And we're going to get right into it. And we'll be right back with more of the Reach Over Culture show. Again, the number to call in is 323-443-7426. If you got any questions for CP or myself, we're talking about his new project, AIM, that releases May 17th.
Yeah.
We in intermission. We live now.
Yeah.
All right, man. So what are you hoping to get out of this project now with AIM? What would be your standard of success after this project is released on May 17th?
My standard of success, honestly, is to really just gain a more a broader audience, and to really just like remind people that like it's okay to struggle. Like it's okay, you're gonna struggle,
right,
but God is still with you. And so like to me, like I know like everything's kind of transitioned over the last couple of years. Success used to be like, man, drop that project and you blow up, and I'm, doing touring and all that stuff. But for me, success now is being content with what I put out, and then affecting people with it.
Yeah.
And that is something that I fully believe is about to happen. Whether that's 2 people or 2,000 people, I'm content. And that I'm content with what I'm putting out, and I know it's gonna affect people. So that's what I expect to get out of it. That's my success right there.
Got you.
Now, of course, I'm not gonna act like I don't want to blow up and everything, but like really, like it's just contentment, man. Knowing I did my best, for myself, and I did what God called me to do, and then the success from that, I'm gonna just take it, multiply it. You know? So.
Yeah. All right, well, that's what it is. We'll take a second. If you're on live and you want to call in, the number is 323-443-7426. We'll give a couple moments to that, man. Shout out to all the reachers out there, man. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in on Apple Podcasts.
I see you, Larry.
Spotify.
I see you.
What else we on? We on iHeart.
Oh, yeah.
What else we on?
Oh, yeah, we do that.
We on SoundCloud. What else we on? Well, we on a lot. We on a lot of platforms.
We're on a lot of platforms.
So man, shout out to everybody that supports that way.
Reaching.
Just we trying to get out there, man. We trying to do our thing. All right. Well, we don't have any callers, man. Pop, appreciate you.
Man, appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man. Make sure y'all tune in next week, next Monday.
Yes, sir.
Whatever's on the Monday menu.
Keep following this, man.
Culture Podcast.
Support this, support that.
Appreciate y'all. And we out.